Have you ever opened your refrigerator, reached for something familiar, and thought to yourself, it's fine. I've eaten this all my life? Have you ever grabbed a quick snack, maybe a slice of ham, a leftover meal, or that juice box sitting quietly on the top shelf, without thinking twice? But let me ask you something deeper. What if the foods you trust the most are quietly harming you? Not dramatically. Not suddenly. But slowly, silently, in ways you wouldn't notice until years later. What if something in your fridge right now, something you see every single day, is increasing your cancer risk without you ever realizing it? And here's the part most people never think about. As you grow older, your body isn't the same as it was 10, 20, or 30 years ago. Foods that once felt harmless, foods you enjoyed for decades, can suddenly turn into troublemakers. Your immune system becomes more delicate. Your cells become easier to damage. Your body struggles more to fight off toxins. And the heartbreaking truth? Most seniors don't find out until symptoms show up. Symptoms they think are just age, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes it's something they've been eating all along. That's why this matters so much. Not to scare you, not to overwhelm you, but to empower you. Because once you know what to avoid, your fridge becomes a place of safety, not risk. A place of nourishment, not danger. And today, you're going to learn exactly that. By the end of this video, you'll know the 5 foods experts say seniors should remove from the refrigerator immediately, foods most families keep without realizing how harmful they can be. These are everyday foods. Common foods. Foods that sit in millions of refrigerators right now. But the way they affect an older body is not the same. And I'll tell you this up front. Number 4 shocks almost everyone. People argue about it, people defend it, and some people don't want to believe it. But once you hear the explanation, you'll understand why it's such a big problem for seniors. Before we dive in, let me ask you for one thing, just a small step to show you're ready to take control of your health. Comment, "I'm ready," below. I'm ready to protect my health. I'm ready to protect someone I love. I'm ready to make my home safer. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide, because every day, I bring you life-changing insights that help you age with strength, clarity, and confidence. Let's step into the first food hiding in so many refrigerators, the one most people never question. Processed cold cuts. Deli meats. Those neat slices of ham, turkey, bologna, or corned beef that sit quietly in their plastic pack, looking convenient, familiar, harmless. Imagine this moment clearly. You open your fridge, you see those slices stacked perfectly, and you think, this is easy, this is quick, this is what I've always eaten. You make a sandwich, or roll a few pieces with bread or crackers. It feels simple. It feels normal. But over time, something begins to change. You start feeling tired in a way that doesn't match your activity. You notice your stomach acting differently, more bloating, more indigestion, more discomfort that you can't quite explain. And maybe you tell yourself, I'm just getting older, or, it's probably nothing. But what if it isn't nothing? Processed meats are loaded with nitrates and chemical preservatives designed to keep them looking fresh long after they should have spoiled. And here's the part that most seniors never hear. Your body, at this stage of life, can't clear those chemicals the way it used to. The liver works slower. The cells are more sensitive. The immune system is more fragile. So those nitrates don't just pass through you, they stay. They build up. They linger in your system. And these chemicals don't just sit quietly. They interact with your cells. They create inflammation. And long-term exposure has been linked again and again to higher risks of stomach cancer and colon cancer, especially in older adults. Here's the misunderstanding most people have. They say, come on, it's just protein. I've eaten this forever. But the truth is, the deli meats you ate 40 years ago are not the same deli meat sitting in stores today. The processing has changed. The additives have increased. The chemicals last longer, and the effects on an older body are far more intense. This isn't about fear. It's about awareness. It's about knowing that something so ordinary can slowly harm you without ever making you suspicious. But here's the good news, this is one of the easiest risks to reduce. You don't need to give up sandwiches or quick meals. Just switch to safer options: freshly cooked chicken breast, baked fish, roasted turkey slices made at home. No chemicals. No preservatives. Just real, clean food that supports your body instead of stressing it. And honestly, even small changes make a huge difference. One simple swap can reduce years of unnecessary chemical exposure and give your body the break it needs. And if you think processed deli meats are concerning, wait until you hear the next food. Let's move to a food that almost every home keeps without a second thought: leftover fried foods. Picture this clearly: you open your fridge and see a small takeout box sitting in the corner. Maybe it's fried chicken from yesterday. Maybe it's fries, or plantain, or a few crunchy snacks you didn't finish. It feels harmless. You tell yourself, "I'll just warm it up, no need to waste it." You pop it in the microwave or oven, and in a few minutes, it's hot again. Crispy enough, tasty enough. And you eat it without thinking twice. But later, something feels different. Your joints feel a little heavier. Your stomach feels unsettled. You feel more tired than you should, even after a normal meal. Many people blame age. Or stress. Or, maybe I didn't sleep well. But what if it traces back to that leftover fried food? When fried foods cool down, they don't stay the same. Something happens on the inside, chemically. The oils used in frying break down. The food becomes oxidized. And when you reheat it, especially if you reheat it more than once, it forms compounds your body struggles to handle. One of the biggest troublemakers is something called acrylamide. It's a chemical that forms when starchy foods are fried at high temperatures. And when you cool and reheat those foods, the level of acrylamide doesn't drop at all. It increases. It becomes stronger, more concentrated, harder on your body. For younger people, this may not show up right away. But for seniors, it hits harder. Joint pain increases. Inflammation spikes. The digestive system becomes irritated. And over time, repeated exposure to these reheated fried foods has been linked to higher risks of certain cancers. And the biggest misconception people have? They think, if I heat it well, I kill anything harmful. But that's the problem. You can't kill acrylamide. It's not a bacteria. It's a chemical. And the hotter you reheat your leftovers, the more you lock those chemicals into your food. Now, does this mean you can never enjoy crispy food again? Not at all. You simply need safer habits. Instead of storing fried leftovers overnight, try making fresh crispy foods using an air fryer. It uses far less oil, produces fewer harmful compounds, and gives you that same satisfying crunch without the hidden danger. Small changes add up. A tiny shift like avoiding leftover fried foods can lower inflammation, support your heart, and protect your cells. But here's the real wake-up call. Fried leftovers are not the only silent danger hiding in the fridge. The next food is even more deceptive, because families store it all the time, thinking it's a simple, normal part of daily life. When in reality, for seniors, it can cause far more trouble than it seems. Cheese. You open your fridge, you look at that block or container sitting on the shelf, and you think, it should still be fine, it's just cheese. Maybe it's been there a week. Maybe 2. Maybe longer. It still looks mostly okay. Maybe there's a tiny spot of mold on the edge, nothing dramatic, nothing scary. You might even tell yourself, I'll just cut that part off and eat the rest. But that tiny decision, one you've probably made dozens of times in your life, can be far more dangerous now than it ever was before. See, as you get older, your immune system doesn't fight off threats the way it used to. Your body becomes more sensitive to bacteria, toxins, and molds. And cheese, especially soft cheeses, becomes a risky food if it stays in the fridge too long. Soft cheeses like cream cheese, brie, feta, blue cheese, they don't just grow mold on the outside. They absorb moisture, and with that moisture, they allow mold to travel deep inside, even when you can't see it. So while you might cut off the visible mold, the dangerous part is what's hidden beneath the surface. And here's what most people never realize. Some molds produce toxins. Aflatoxins are one of the most concerning. These toxins can damage your liver cells, weaken your immune system, and increase cancer risk, especially for seniors, whose bodies don't detoxify as quickly or as effectively. It's not about fear. It's about understanding your body's limitations at this stage of life. What your body could fight off at 30 or 40 might be overwhelming at 70 or 80. And the biggest misconception is this. People believe mold is harmless if they trim it off. But with soft cheeses, the mold grows like roots, quietly, invisibly, spreading through the inside long before you ever notice the first tiny spot. By the time you see it on the outside, the cheese has already changed on the inside. So what do you do instead? Choose fresher, safer options. Hard cheeses like cheddar or Parmesan last longer and resist mold better. Buy smaller portions so you eat them before they age too much. Always check expiration dates, and trust your senses. If the smell is even slightly off, don't take a chance. Your health is worth more than a few slices of cheese. Now, if these mold-prone cheeses surprise you, wait until you hear about the next food. Because the fourth one isn't just common. It's something almost every refrigerator has. And the debate around it is so intense that even experts disagree, until they see what it does to the body of an older adult. Because for many older adults, that morning cup of packaged juice becomes a daily ritual, a ritual that feels healthy, comforting, and harmless. But behind that bright color and fruity aroma, something entirely different is happening inside the body. Many seniors describe the same experience. Feeling good for the first few minutes after drinking it, a small burst of energy, maybe even a sense of nostalgia. But by mid-morning, fatigue creeps in. The body feels heavy. The mood dips. Blood sugar swings begin, only to be followed by episodes of dizziness, cravings, or sudden tiredness. And over the months, without realizing why, weight slowly increases. Clothes fit differently. Afternoon naps become longer. And energy that was once steady starts disappearing like a fading sunset. What feels like a healthy choice is, in reality, a slow and steady drain on vitality. Because many packaged fruit juices, despite their colorful labels and promises of fresh, pure, or natural, contain large amounts of added sugar, refined concentrates, artificial flavor boosters, and preservatives. These substances may help with taste and shelf life, but they challenge an aging body in the worst possible ways. Sugar, especially in liquid form, hits a senior's bloodstream faster than the body can handle. It spikes glucose levels, accelerates inflammation, and forces the pancreas to work twice as hard. And inflammation, as countless studies show, is one of the major physiological triggers behind many cancers, especially those affecting seniors. Yet the biggest misconception remains. Juice is not fruit. Real fruit comes with fiber, nutrients, and antioxidants that protect the body, slow down sugar absorption, and support healthy aging. But most commercial juices have the fiber removed. And once fiber is gone, sugar becomes a rapid, unfiltered load on the body, far more harmful than most people realize. That is why so many older adults think they are choosing something light, something clean, something good for digestion, when in reality they are consuming sugar levels equivalent to many sodas. But there is a better way. If you enjoy fruit beverages, choose freshly squeezed juice in small amounts. Or better yet, blend the whole fruit with water so the fiber remains intact. Fiber slows sugar absorption, supports digestion, and protects the body from the sharp spikes that damage organs over time. A simple blender can transform a potentially harmful habit into a nourishing one. And now, we arrive at the most shocking food of all. A food so common, so trusted, and so familiar that most people never think twice before placing it on their table. A food that millions consume every day, believing it brings comfort. When in truth, it may be quietly eroding their health from within. Rice has always been a symbol of comfort. For many seniors, it represents simplicity, a meal that's gentle on the stomach, easy to prepare, and familiar to the heart. A small bowl of rice can feel like home. But the danger doesn't come from rice itself. It comes from what happens after it's cooked. You see, in many households, leftover rice sits on the counter longer than expected. Seniors may reheat it the next morning or even 2 days later. And at first, nothing seems wrong. The taste feels the same. The aroma is unchanged. But slowly, the body begins sending subtle warnings: a twist in the stomach, a wave of nausea, unexpected diarrhea, or a sudden episode of digestive discomfort. At first, these signals are dismissed as, maybe I ate too fast, or maybe it's just age catching up. But the truth goes deeper, far deeper than most families realize. Cooked rice, when left at room temperature or stored incorrectly, becomes the perfect environment for a bacterium called Bacillus cereus. It's a resilient microorganism, one that survives boiling temperatures. Even if the rice is steaming hot when served, the spores may remain alive. And once the rice cools, these spores wake up, multiply, and begin producing toxins. Here's the part many seniors never hear about. The toxin produced by Bacillus cereus is not destroyed by reheating. No matter how hot you make that leftover rice, the toxin remains. And while a single episode may cause only temporary discomfort, repeated exposure over months or years places stress on the digestive system, weakens immunity, and increases inflammation, opening the door for long-term cellular damage. The misconception is widespread. People think, if I heat it enough, it will be safe. But this is one of the most dangerous assumptions in elderly nutrition. A senior's digestive system is more sensitive. Their immune response is slower. A toxin that a younger adult might tolerate could cause far more harm to someone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s. And in many homes, especially those where seniors live alone, leftover rice is often the go-to meal for convenience. But it doesn't have to be dangerous. There are simple, powerful steps that protect the body while preserving the comfort of a favorite food. Cool cooked rice quickly. Refrigerate it within 1 hour of cooking. Do not leave it sitting out on the counter. If the portion is large, divide it into smaller containers so it chills evenly. Or, for even greater safety, freeze it immediately. And perhaps the safest choice of all, cook smaller, fresh portions. A single cup, freshly made, is far better than reheating a large batch stored for too long. Because every small step that reduces exposure to harmful toxins is a step toward a stronger, healthier life. And all these risks, from hidden sugars to preservatives, from overlooked bacteria to unsafe reheating, bring us to something deeper. Something families of seniors struggle with. Something often unspoken, yet present in every home, every kitchen, and every moment of care. A truth that gently reveals itself when we look at what aging bodies truly need, and how easily those needs can be overlooked. It's never easy confronting the quiet truths hiding in our daily routines. Because these aren't exotic foods or rare ingredients, these are the familiar, comforting things we grew up with. They've been part of family meals, celebrations, late-night snacks, and childhood memories. So when you suddenly realize that something you've trusted for decades may now pose a danger, it can feel like the ground shifts beneath you. And for families, it can be even more painful. Watching a parent, a partner, or a grandparent unknowingly eat something that may harm them is heartbreaking. You see the fatigue that wasn't always there. You notice the sudden stomach discomfort, the unexpected inflammation, the quiet weakness after meals. Yet you don't want to nag, you don't want to scare them, you only want them safe. But here's the truth. Awareness is not fear. Awareness is strength. Being informed doesn't mean living with caution in every step. It means making decisions rooted in clarity, not uncertainty. It means replacing, "I didn't know," with, "now I understand." It means protecting the body with gentleness and intention. You now hold the knowledge that can safeguard not just your own health, but the health of the people who depend on you. And that is something powerful. So take a moment this week, not in fear, not in panic, but in quiet confidence. Open your refrigerator. Look at the dates. Look at the leftovers. Look at the juices, the meats, the cheeses, the containers you've kept longer than you intended. Ask yourself one simple question. Does this support my health, or threaten it? And if something feels questionable, let it go. Replacing one harmful item with a fresher, safer choice is a victory. Not a small one, a meaningful one. Because healthy aging isn't about dramatic changes. It's about thoughtful habits, consistent awareness, and the willingness to choose what your body truly deserves. And with each small step, you build a foundation of protection, one that allows you to enjoy your later years with strength, comfort, and peace of mind. Your future health is shaped not by perfection, but by intention. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to recap the 5 risky foods quietly hiding in many refrigerators. Processed deli meats. Leftover fried foods. Mold-prone cheeses. Packaged fruit juices. And old or reheated rice. Each of these foods may seem harmless at first glance, but all of them, through preservatives, toxins, bacteria, or hidden sugars, can increase inflammation or even elevate cancer risks, especially for seniors. Recognizing them is the first step. Choosing alternatives is the second. Protecting your health, that's the ultimate goal. I'm curious, truly curious, which one surprised you the most? Did one of them catch you off guard? Or have you personally experienced discomfort after eating any of these? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might help someone else take that important step toward better health. And if you found this video helpful, subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Guide. Every day, we share clear, powerful insights designed to help seniors live longer, healthier, and safer lives, one informed choice at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me. Stay informed. Stay healthy. And I'll see you in the next video.